What's going on, people? Welcome back to Tenwta Talks Football. And yeah, just like the title says, INEOS screw AMORIM over. Where do I even start? Man, this club. So basically, what happened was in the summer, there was a lot of pressure to sack Erik Ten Hag. Man United, or rather INEOS, chose not to sack him based off of him winning the FA Cup. I'd like to make it very clear that I was against that decision. But hey, it is what it is. They chose to keep him. Few months, I think, 2-3 months into the new season, Ten Hag keeps on getting worse and worse and worse. And guess what? INEOS finally decided, you know what, this is not working. Let's sack Erik Ten Hag. They then sack Ten Hag, and guess what they do? They go and get Ruben Amorim. Excuse me. This is a Ruben Amorim who was doing so well at Sporting Lisbon. He literally had Sporting Lisbon at the top of the UEFA Champions League, as well as the top of Liga NOS, which happens to be the Portuguese league. They then offered him a job. However, they didn't just give him the job, but they basically gave him an ultimatum. They said to him, the job is available now. And when Amorim asked, can I come in? Someone said, nope. You either take the job now or you forget about it. It's a one-time offer. Take it or leave it. So obviously, Amorim, seeing it's Man United, in as much as he loves Sporting and he's loyal to them and everything, it's Man United. It's a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. So he takes the job. So us as fans, seeing how well he was doing for Sporting Lisbon, obviously get excited. We think to ourselves, got a new manager, a young manager, fresh ideas, different style of play, different system to what we've been playing under Ten Hag and previous managers. So hey, this should be good. So you'd like to assume that there was an agreement between INEOS and Ruben Amorim that, don't worry, come the January transfer window, we're going to back you. We're going to give you a few players, players who actually suit your system. Players who are going to help you to implement your system quicker and easier, But no, that's not the case. The January window has come and gone. And basically, Man United were basically only made one first team signing. One. We signed Patrick Dogu, a 20-year-old from Lecce, a left wing back who, I'll admit, it was one of the most important positions we needed. I said we needed 2 wing backs and 2 10s and most probably a striker, but I know it's not realistic. So I said, you know what? I'll settle for 2 wing backs and 1 attacker. Minimum. We needed 3 players minimum. At least 2 wing backs and 1 attacker. Whether it be a 9 or a 10, didn't really matter. But at least 2 wing backs and an attacker. Lo and behold, INEOS only go and sign the left wing back, which is Dogu. They also signed Aiden Heaven from Arsenal, 18-year-old centre-back. But let's be honest, the kid's not ready to be playing first-team football for Man United. If anything, the reports are that whilst we signed him, the plan was to have him be an understudy to Lisandro Martinez, who, by the way, is out for the rest of the season. He's just basically torn his ACL, so he's out for the rest of the season. So that's sad news for Licha, to get also in Licha. But the kid was basically meant to be his understudy. So now that he is out, maybe that might result in the kid being fast-tracked into the team. I don't know. Maybe it does, maybe it doesn't. But flipping neighbor. This guy is always fixing something in his house, so pardon the noise. But anyway, where was I? The kid is probably going to get fast-tracked into the first team, which I'm not sure how I feel about it. I will say, okay, it's fine, give him a chance, but I don't expect the kid to basically, I don't know, be the big impact or have a constant or an instant impact rather on the team, because he's 18, he's just joined the team. I always say if you're good enough, you're old enough. But the thing is he ready? That's the question. Because it's one thing to say, yeah, play the young kid, he's good enough, but is he ready? The last thing you want to do is put the kid in when he's not ready and end up basically ruining his whole confidence. I mean, we've seen Lenny Euro struggle in the 3-4-3. Will Aiden Heaven suit the system? I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. But anyway, back to our main signing who we made, Patrick Dogu. He's only 20 years old. He's a 20-year-old kid we signed from Lecce. So again, he's going to be better. I'd like to assume he'll be better than what we have currently in our wing back roles, because let's be honest, Delo and Mazraoui are not wing backs. So hopefully Dogu's an upgrade on them. But if we're being honest, the kid was signed with the intention of basically signing a long-term player. He's only going to be, would like to hope that he'll be a top player in the next 2 to 3 years, not to become and be an instant success. So we basically say we gave AMORIM a 20-year-old signing, an 18-year-old kid from Arsenal who we don't even expect to, yes, will be part of the first team, but we don't expect him to get too many minutes. And we've also signed that Leon kid from Paraguay, who we've immediately sent back on loan. He'll only be joining the club in the summer. So all in all, we've basically only given Ruben Amorim one signing. One. And it's not like we're just giving him one signing because we struggle to let players go. No. We've actually managed to get rid of players who are on high wages. We've managed to let go of Marcus Rashford. He's gone on a loan with an option to buy for Aston Villa, £40 million. Hopefully he does well so that the price goes up, because that's one player I don't regret us letting him go to Villa on a loan, because the truth of the matter is he wasn't doing well at United, and I felt it was best for both parties to go their separate ways. So Rashford's at Villa, he's gone out, and they're paying apparently about 70% of his wages. So that's a big chunk of his wages taken out of our basically our poor finances. We've let go of Anthony. He's gone to Betis. They're paying 84% of his salary. He's on about 200 grand apparently. And Betis are basically taking on 80% of that. So that's about, what, 160 grand a week that they've taken over. We've let, what's his name? Jadon Sancho go in the summer. He's on about 300 grand. Chelsea are paying a big chunk of his wages. So we've let go of players, attackers in particular. We've let go of Jadon Sancho, didn't replace him. Anthony Martial, if you want to go back to the summer, Anthony Martial was a body. He might not have been a good player for us, but he was a body. We never replaced him. So Martial went, Sancho went, Rashford went, Anthony went. That's 4 attackers. 4 attackers we've let go and didn't replace a single one of them. And we can't use the excuse of INEOS wasn't here, so it's not INEOS' problem. They were here in the summer. They were part of the decision making. So that's why I keep saying they screwed Ruben Amorim over. You do not bring a manager who's top of his domestic league and top of the UEFA Champions League, undefeated all season, in fact 100% win record if I'm not mistaken, bring him to United with players who you know don't suit his style of play or his system, and basically say, there you go, they're the players, make it work. It doesn't make any sense. INEOS have screwed him over. Like, not only have they like, I have to repeat this. I understand why we had to let go of all those guys. Martial wasn't performing, cool. Sancho, differences would turn out, cool. Let him go, fine. Rashford wasn't performing, fine, let him go. Anthony not performing, let him go. All these 4 guys I mentioned were all on big wages. So they are all gone. So what do I would then expect for us to happen? To go and get an attacker. At least one. Minimum 1 attacker, because you've let go of 4 attackers. Ideally, you should be letting go of 4 attackers and bringing 4 attackers. But cool, you didn't. At least getting 2. Okay, you couldn't even get 2. Get 1 then. To make things worse, Matisse Tel was there. The kid was there. He rejected Spurs. Daniel Levy flew from England directly to Munich to have face-to-face meeting with this kid. He looked him point blank in his eyes and said, sorry, bro, I'm not coming to Spurs. I want to go to Man United. There were more than enough reports from the likes of what's his name, Romano, Ornstein, Florian Plettenberg. All the big journalists were coming out and saying that Matisse Tel is waiting for Man United. Chelsea were in talks for him. They wanted to sign him on a permanent deal. He said, no, I'd rather stay at Bayern. Spurs, he rejected them. But guess what? Deadline day, he waits. United are not coming through. He finally decides, you know, I'm going to go to Spurs. Now, the reasoning behind us not being involved in the Tel deal, at first, I sort of understood it, but it's like a 50-50. I kind of understand it partially, but the other part I don't understand. The first part is, apparently Bayern was saying they wanted a £5 million loan fee. Our PSR situation is apparently so dire that we couldn't even afford to pay £5 million. A £5 million loan fee for this kid. Now, I'm not saying this kid would have been the be-all and end-all, or would have been world-class, or Drogba-esque, or flipping, I don't know, Hazard level. No, 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 no. He's an attacker. He's not necessarily an out-and-out. He can play the wing, he can play a 9, but basically he would have been a body for us. And based on the reputation, seems like a kid with a bit of promise. So again, I'm not saying he would have been a world beater for us, but he would have at least been a body in the squad. Because right now, our attack is basically threadbare. We've only got Rasmus Højlund, who's trash, Joshua Zirkzee, who's had a 50-50 type of season, Amad Diallo, our best player, Garnacho, who's very, very, very inconsistent. So those are the only 4 players we've got. I could genuinely make an argument that Man United most probably have the worst attack in the Premier League. I could make that argument. But hey, they felt they didn't want to do it anyway. But back to the situation with Tel. We could have paid a £5 million loan fee to sign this guy. We said no, there's no money, PSR, all of this, blah blah blah. Okay, cool. He then goes to Spurs, and we end up finding out that Spurs actually got him, paid that £5 million loan fee, but they've actually installed an option to buy. 60 million euros is about 50 million pounds. So if Spurs, this Matisse Tel is there for the rest of the season, right? If Spurs do well, or he does well, rather, Matisse Tel does well for Spurs, Spurs are just going to trigger the clause. They've already paid £5 million. They're just going to pay an extra £45 million and then he's theirs. The kid's 19. We don't know how high his ceiling is. He could be rubbish. He could be very inconsistent. He could be very good. But you're trying to tell me Man United could spend, we couldn't find £5 million with an option, not even an obligation to buy, but an option. The power was in our hands. We could have still paid £5 million loan fee, bring talent, loan for the rest of the season. And the season we review how he did. If he did well, we sign him on a permanent. If it was rubbish, we send him back to Bayern. What I do agree with is us not going in for him, paying the £5 million loan fee with no option to buy, because that would basically be like us developing a player for Bayern. Since when we were like that, I agree with that. But seeing that there was actually an option or opportunity to add an option to buy, why weren't we in this deal? Why weren't we involved? Especially when, like I said, the kid was making it very clearly, or made very clear, that he wanted to join Man United. So why didn't we join? Why were we not part of this race? INEOS are a disgrace, man. Honestly, they're a disgrace. And okay, cool. Maybe some people will say, no, but £5 million is too much for a loan fee. Cool. You're trying to tell me we couldn't go get someone in Europe, in Italy or France or wherever, for a loan fee of around 2 million, 3 million, 2.5 million? Because I'm sure there's strikers out there. We could have gotten a body. It didn't have to be a top-class player. I remember us a few years back in the January window when we didn't have money. We went and got Odion Ighalo. He was never going to be a world-class player. He was just someone who loved Man United, and he was a decent striker. And guess what? He actually helped us in the Europa League campaign. Yes, we didn't win the trophy. We lost the final. But guess what? He played a big part in that season. He scored goals for us, important goals for us in the Europa League. So you're telling me we couldn't pull off such a similar deal? Nah. This sparks of incompetence from INEOS. And I can't lie, I'm not happy with this. I'm really, really not happy on this. Like, for me, INEOS right now are on serious fraud watch. They are definitely on serious fraud watch, at least for me. But what they've done to Ruben Amorim, I feel it's been very unfair. They've left him short. They've left him exposed. And I'm sure Ruben Amorim is fuming wherever he is. I'm at a point where I genuinely wouldn't be surprised if Amorim walked. If he resigned and quit, I would not be surprised. And I wouldn't even blame him, because, like I keep saying, they've screwed him over. But anyways, those are my thoughts, really. I just thought, like, yesterday I thought about going live, but I genuinely was just so annoyed with the whole thing. And I just, like, screw it. I'm not going to go live. Screw it. I'm not doing this to myself. I'll deal with it tomorrow. So I thought I should come here and basically give you my thoughts on the whole thing. It's bad. It's really, really bad. We are currently 13th in the Premier League, Man United. 13th in the Premier League. And the INEOS regime chose to give Ruben Amorim, they chose to give Ruben Amorim one single 20-year-old wing back. That's it. Whilst weakening the squad, by the way. I get it, Rashford is not good. Anthony was not good for us. But to release them and not replace them, absolutely criminal. Absolutely criminal. We find ourselves, like I said, with the threadbare tech, we might have to bring in the likes of Chido, Obi Martin, Ibrahimov, all those kids. We might have to fast track them into the team now because we don't have any attackers. But anyways, those are my thoughts. Let me know what you guys think about the way INEOS were moving in this transfer window. Let me know what your thoughts are. Do you think INEOS were in the right not to get anyone at all? I'm not saying we should have bought a top class player, by the way. I'm saying we could have gotten a cheap loan without an obligation to buy. But they couldn't even do that. But like I said, let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. And if you haven't already, please like the video, share the video, subscribe to the channel, and I will see you guys soon. Peace.